Okay. Hi, Fran. How are you?
I'm great, Douglas. How are you?
Oh, doing good. Thank you. Nice to see you. Thank you for coming on the show. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
I know we were just talking about music, and I see your albums back there, and I'm so glad that vinyl is coming back because well, even CDs are not as convenient. I think if I'm going to go for convenience, I like the idea of having 1,000 songs on my phone. Then I can just play them and digital download, put it in your pocket, because I remember having to lug crates of albums up flights of stairs, moving from one apartment
Yes.
to the other. I don't miss that, but I do miss the sound quality, and I'm glad that people are going back to vinyl. I really am. So,
Yeah, and I think it all depends on where you're listening to your music. The CDs, I think, have their place when you're out and about, but there's something about being, next to a record player with the album, watching it turn and reading the album cover and the lyrics as you're listening to it. There's something very nostalgic about that, I guess, because I grew up doing that. So I just love it.
a lot of the music, especially the music of the late 60s and 70s, was meant to be listened to sitting there and experiencing that 40 minutes of the album. The album was going to take you on a journey. It wasn't intended to be just background music that you played while you were busy doing something else, half paying attention to it. That was never the intent.
Absolutely. And I was enthralled with my albums.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And you read all the liner notes and all the cover art, everything. Yeah. I think that those days have kind of vanished, but people are coming back to it. So let's see. Let's talk a little bit about you. You're a self leadership and business growth consultant. That's on your bio? So I'm just going with what that
Yes.
says.
Yes, what I do is I help people grow by doing one thing, and mainly that's changing the way they think. I do a lot of self growth work, and I help people discover who they are and find their best qualities and take those qualities and use them the best they can to either grow themselves and mostly grow their businesses.
I didn't see the word leadership coach on here. I saw leadership. I've had several people on who were leadership coaches, what they called. Is that not what you do? Or are you doing something different or what?
I think I like to tweak it a bit. I call it self leadership because I'm of the mindset that you can't lead others until you can lead yourself. And the more you know about yourself and that you can control yourself, I think that displays a stronger, more confident person. And then the people will want to follow you. Whereas leadership can be a structured course, do this, 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 and this, and you will lead people. I think it's teaching somebody how to lead people based on a methodology that may have worked for someone else, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work for you. So I like to find the person's personality and use their strengths and bring their own leadership out rather than a structured format. We sort of create it as we go along.
I've heard the term lead by example a lot. Is
Mhm.
that probably better than lead by dictation?
I guess I guess it depends who and what you're leading. If you want to have an atmosphere where you go to work every day and the business that you created and the people you've surrounded yourself with are all on the same path and enjoying the same vision, then you want to do it from the inside out. You want to take your own authentic self and find others that are in harmony with that. Whereas if it's something that you need to lead and have people do for a reason, for example, my son is in the army. You need very strong leaders and you need to be able to, give orders so that people listen. So I think they both have their place. It just depends on where you're using it and how you're using it, whether or not it'll be effective.
Okay, a lot of the leadership coaches that I've had on the show
Hmm.
uh, all tended to say that corporate leadership in the United States is really bad, overall, in the sense that a lot of these guys are still of the old school, where they weren't really tuned into the employees. The employees were just a number. They were just there for a purpose. And people were feeling very, I hate to use the term unloved, but people were feeling not valued as an employee. They had no self-worth as a human being there. They were simply a flesh and blood robot, if you will, performing tasks. Are we still at that point, or are things starting to change at all?
Yeah, I think we're starting to change. I think people are starting to understand that you could get more out of an employee if you work with that person rather than working against them. Isn't it better to have somebody who wants to come to work and loves their job and puts all their energy in from 9 to 5 or whatever the time frame is? They're so happy to be there that they're giving you their all. Or do you want to be confrontational and have people against you, and going against the grain, which is how a lot of companies run? It's, you should be happy you have a paycheck and that you're here, rather than, how can I get the best out of this employee? And I think when you're clear on who you are and what your expectations are of yourself, you start attracting the same people that are interested in what you're promoting. And then you end up with a group of people that love what they're doing. They love being around everybody and they want to come to work. Your sick days go down. Everybody, wants to be there and is more productive. So sales go up, profits go up. And it's just making sure that everybody's clear. And to do that, you have to be clear on what you want before you can tell your staff and show your staff where you want them to go with you. So it takes a bit of, inner analysis and learning about yourself, which a lot of people are quite surprised when they do discover a little more about themselves. It's usually that part of themselves that they've been pushing aside that they see as a fault that is actually their strength. And when they start using it, then they start seeing the results in their business and the attitudes of their employees as well.
So on your bio, it says that you've got a online program, scripting your results. Who are your primary clients for that?
Scripting your results is basically for any individual that wants to go from where they are to where they want to be. It's doing that inner work to understand how you think, how you've been taught to think, and how to take that and change it into the thinking of where it is you want to go. A lot of people don't realize that they've been programmed to think a certain way. And that way may not be working for them. And because we've been taught certain things by certain people, it's our belief that that's the way we have to function. And you don't usually notice that until you want to achieve something and you can't because you're stuck. And it's that realization that you can move that over. The same way that it got there, you can move it out of the way. And so my course basically teaches you how your programming got there, how to find the programming that you don't want anymore, and then how to move it over so that you can have a clear path to where it is you want to go.
Well, I certainly know where my programming came from. Mine came from my mother. So,
Yes,
and
as many of us. Yes.
Yeah, and it took me a long time to move that out of the way. I love her and everything, and she's an old woman at this point, but that was a big obstacle for me because we did not agree. People don't become musicians for a career. That's not a career, that's a hobby. And when I went pursuing my dreams, it was not supported. So
it's not supported. Yeah. And here it is, the thing that comes to you naturally that, is a strength that you have. And you probably early on learned how to, put that down. But once you, like you said, moved it over, look how much fun you're having.
I'm just sorry it took me so long to get back to it, because it took me until I was 43 years old to realize that I was completely on the wrong road and gave up my whole life and started over again. I'm glad I did, but I wish I could have had this epiphany at 25 or 30 instead of wasting 20 years. I felt like I wasted the time.
Well, it was a learning experience for you too. I'm sure you learned a lot along the way that helped you discover that. But I do a lot of talks at high schools and colleges because I'm trying to get that message across to the younger people before they realize that they don't have to continue on, doing what other people think you should be doing. You can do what you think you should be doing. You just need to know how to think. That's all.
Well, it sounds very simple, but I think it's a little more complicated probably than that. Are you promoting a book? Do you have a book you're promoting?
Yes, I do. I wrote a book, Your Life is a Movie, Scripting and Producing Your Dreams into Reality. And yeah, that book I wrote to help people take what it is they want and actually visualize it. I found it quite sad that a lot of people know what they want and cannot bring it in their minds. They can't even think about it. They've learned how to squash down their imagination. So I thought if I wrote a book from start to finish and helped people bring that vision into their minds as if they were creating a movie. I took the analogy of movie making. So my first section is called Lights, and we go in and we actually, look inwards and understand how you think and how you visualize things. Then we go into Camera, which is bringing it all to the forefront, looking through that camera lens, and we create your image. And then Action is the steps you take to make your image, go into your mind and into your subconscious mind so that your body will move you towards the result. So I created it like a movie, as if you were writing and editing a movie, just that it's your script about your vision.
Well, that sounds like a modern day take on Shakespeare's quote about life is the stage and all the people are the players. Yeah?
Absolutely.
Oh, that's great.
I teach you
Yeah.
how to be the star in your own life. So similar, yes.
Well, I think the internet has certainly made it a lot easier for people to have that because there seems to be everyone is making content these days.
Absolutely.
But I think it's a good thing overall. I mean, there's good and bad to everything that happens, but I think overall, at least it gives people the opportunity to sort of stretch their legs and give it a shot. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But before the internet was around, there was no availability for that. Nobody was making indie films, but unless you had a lot of money.
Right.
But now anybody with a phone can make a little short film or something. So it's opened the gates. Yeah.
There's some talented people that never would have been able to showcase anything. They would have been waiting for other people to say the yes, for them. But now they're doing it on their own. So yeah, there's some amazing people out there creating amazing things. So I think it's fun to see.
Yes, with the film and also with indie music. At this point,
Yes.
all the good music for me is indie.
Yes.
The stuff that
I
the
agree.
major labels are putting out, I could care less about. But the
Yeah.
indie labels are fantastic music. Yeah,
Yeah.
really great stuff. Well, Fran, we do have to wind this down. Do you have a website that you want to give out?
Yes, you could just go to franbanting.com and you could find all my information there. There's all my history, my course, my book. It's all there.
Okay, great. And I think I asked you this already, but basically anybody can sign up for the course if they want.
Yep, you can just sign up online, or if you wanted to email me, you can contact me and we could just talk about a few things and other ideas or avenues that might suit somebody other than the course. I actually have one-on-one programs as well.
Okay, great. Well, thanks so much for